Okay, welcome to the first episode of Let's Smoke Something with Jim. And today for the 4th of July, I am doing some smoked Little Smokies and meatballs. Now, normally when you do these, you would use chili sauce with grape jelly. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to be using cranberry sauce and hot honey, along with a local favorite, Tig Smoking Pig Barbecue Zesty Honey Barbecue Sauce. And let's get started. We're going to do 1 bottle of the barbecue sauce and 1 can of the cranberry sauce and a 1/4 cup of the Mike's Hot Honey. Get all of that out of there. We're also going to do a little bit of brown sugar and just basically a 1/2 cup. And usually when people do these, they just kind of throw everything right into the aluminum pan and then throw it on the smoker. I don't like to do that. I like to actually mix everything together and let those flavors kind of mix together before I dump everything over the sauce. And by doing this, I think you get more of a kind of a more consistent flavor throughout the entire meal. And I'll clean all that up later. I'm not going to pack this down, just a 1/4 cup loosely. Throw it in there. And going to whisk this all together. Not adding any barbecue seasoning rub or anything like that, just the 4 ingredients that you saw there. And you can use any kind of barbecue sauce. Since I wanted this to kind of be sweet with heat, I'm using the zesty honey barbecue sauce, and then the hot honey, and then the cranberry jelly and the brown sugar to give it a little extra sweetness. And then I'm going to dump everything into the pan here. Start out with the Little Smokies. Next, I'm going to go with the frozen meatballs. And we're using 32 ounces of the frozen meatballs, and we're using 24 ounces of the Little Smokies. And just lay those out. Get this a little bit more mixed up. And we're just going to dump it all over. And like I said, this way the flavor is going to be all mixed in on everything that it touches. And as this smokes, all those flavors are going to be mixed in. So that's what we're looking for. Get those out of there. And now that these are mixed up, we're going to smoke them for 2 hours at 225 degrees. In about an hour or so, we're going to start mixing it. And then once we get to the 2 hours, we're going to crank the heat up to 375 and let all that caramelize and pull them off. Everything should be nice and warm, tender, and have that smoky flavor with that sweet heat. So we'll see how they turn out. We'll be back later. All right, so now you can see we've got our Pit Boss Savannah up to temp at 225 degrees. And we are using just a small little bit of leftover of some hickory pellets, but then I threw cherry pellets in because, again, I want a little bit of that sweet flavor. Got competition blend, Pit Boss, pellets in the smoke tube just to give it some extra smoke. And I'm going to place this on the top rack. Again, we did not mix them. And with where that smoke tube is placed, what it's going to do is it's going to come up and go over as it goes out the exhaust there. So we're just going to let this roll for, like I said, about 2 hours. After 2 hours, we're going to crank it up to 375 and let it caramelize. And we're going to come back in about an hour and give them a stir, baste them a little bit, and see how they're looking. And we'll see y'all back in an hour. All right, so we are 1 hour in. Let's open this up and see what they look like. And give them a good stir. You can see the smoke's rolling pretty good on these. All right. So, got them here. And they're looking pretty good. Let's just get those covered up. Now, with this, you really don't need to stir them around and make sure top's on the bottom, bottom's on the top, or whatever. It's just basically at this point you just want to get them all covered because they're still going to cook, and as it cooks, that sauce is going to thicken up a lot. So get those, give them a little shake, get them down in there a little. All right, from here on out, we're going to let them smoke, same temperature, and we're going to come out every 15 minutes and give them a stir. Okay, so we are at 2 hours, and what I did about 15 minutes ago is I cranked the heat up to 375, and it actually, the timing worked out pretty perfect because it reached 275 or 375, I'm sorry, about a minute ago. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to let these cook, and they're going to caramelize, and they should be good to go. I did taste test one of them, and this is probably one of my favorite recipes for this type of dish. So we're going to let those roll at 375 for 30 minutes and get them off the grill and get them served up. Okay, so we let these go for 30 minutes at 375, and they are looking amazing. So we're going to shut this down and get them out of there. So, let that shut down. All right, get the gloves on. And get these off. I'll give you a close-up when I get this down here. All right, so here you go. This is the finished deal. These are amazing. They're nice and hot. Everything's covered up. They got that smoky flavor. I tried a couple, I'm not going to lie. And this is by far my favorite recipe that I've done. So we will definitely do this one. We might tweak it just a little bit, depending on now that they rolled at 375. Check the flavor afterwards and see how we're going to adjust it for next time. But this is a super simple cook. 2.5 hours total on the smoker. And prep time, probably less than 10 minutes. So here you go. Thanks.